think we're just about live. Mute my laptop, that might be a good idea. That's the first time I've been doing this, guys, so just be kind with me. What I thought I'd do this morning, this camera angle's terrible, is pack some orders and answer a few questions while I'm doing it. It's been it's not been a bad couple of days. I think I'm on about £350 since Wednesday. So I don't normally do my packing on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I set my postage times to 2 working days. I did have it originally at 1 working day, but I found that was really, it was just a nightmare to keep on top of. Loads and loads of pressure to get orders out, and I had an increased rate of defects for late postage and stuff like that. It's all of which I've been able to get removed, because basically I do get them out on time. It was just a nightmare to do it. So if anybody can actually see this, if you can do me a favour and just leave a comment in the chat area. I'm not entirely sure how this works, to be honest. I'm just proper winging this. Oh, hello, H. This is annoying because I'm actually on 2 screens. How you doing, Flower? This is going to get confusing. I should really have set this up on my laptop because you're not going to be able to see what I'm doing as well. So what I'm going to do is go through what I've sold as I'm packing it, basically. So this isn't going to be as slick as my normal edited videos are. You're going to get a lot of arms and arms and butt scratchy moments, that kind of thing. But we'll go through it anyway. Let's see. I'm probably better off. I'd be better off if I switch to my laptop, actually. Thinking about it. Like I say, guys, you're going to have to bear with me because setting this crap up is a challenge, to say the least. Right, let's just swap over. See how this works. That wasn't annoying. Right, so if I run this from the laptop, let's that should work. I'm really kind of StreamYard, which is the software that we use to connect live streams to YouTube. I'll swap to my laptop. Should give you a better angle of what's going on. And I should be able to chat, answer any questions a lot better as well. Morning, Gamer Boy. How you doing, my man? Chop my head off, dude. What's going on? Quite sketchy and pixelated. Not the best quality, but I find none on here are. No, this is very true. My internet connection's all right, actually, but I think with a lot of live broadcasts, you have to have super fast connections. I'm working from a back room, and the internet connection is really rubbish, so I normally use my mobile Wi-Fi bit, which, to be fair, is usually really, really good. That's a top tip, actually. I think you have to be able to factor the cost into, obviously, your running costs. But I find that I'm on Tesco for my internet for my phone, and I normally find that a lot of places, the loose signal and whatnot, and you don't want to be stuck in a field at a car boot trying to research stuff as you go and have no signal to do it. So you're basically buying blind. So I always like to have a bit of a backup. This is on 3 network, which coverage is pretty good. It gives me another kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It gives me another tool in the box kind of thing, just in case I don't get any signal with Tesco O2. Right, so I'm going to go through some orders. I have no bloody idea I'm going to do this because I'm going to be chopping and switching between screens. Let's see what else we got in. Dan, morning, Dan. How you doing, man? Love the videos, pal. New to reselling this hustle after years of selling own stuff on and off. First boot sale this Sunday, can't wait. Apparently it's supposed to be really, really good good weather this weekend. I might even get to a car boot tomorrow as well. I'm absolutely determined to have a storming weekend. I still kind of feel that I don't like to use the word guilty for having a weekend off last weekend because it was brilliant. But getting back into it, I don't like to drag my feet. I think I've done about £1,300–1,400 in sales this week. So not the most glamorous, but can't really complain if I'm doing that week in, week out. It keeps the mortgage paid and keeps the bills paid. Right, let's get this show on the road. I'm probably better off using my iPad for the order bits and using the laptop for the streaming bits. So, there we are. I say, guys, if you've got any questions, just give me a shout. Actually pack these so you can't actually see them. I picked up, it was in a box of other bits and pieces I picked up. This is an Eddie Stobart DVD and coaster set. It cost me nothing actually, but that's going out for, this won't actually bloody load now, just my luck. This is how unprofessional, unscripted videos are. I've kind of like lifted the veil on all this sleekly produced kind of crap I normally turn out. Yeah, this is going to be very difficult to do. Don't you love it when technology bites you in the backside? Awesome stuff. So what have you guys been up to this week? You've been getting out and about? How are your sales going? If at all? Or if you just here to have a bit of a nosy? I don't mind. There we are. Just wing it, pal. Just real life. That's very, very true, that, Rachel. I tell you. I don't think there's anybody knows that better than me and you, kid. Keep it going. Keep the show going. That's the main thing. I was out and about yesterday, actually. I set myself this ongoing story. If you see me, my last video, I went out to look for a settee. I need a new settee, and obviously I like to put back into the system. So I was looking at charity shops because you can pick up some really, really nice stuff that if you were to buy it new would cost you hundreds and hundreds of pounds. I picked up a 3-seater and a 1-seater yesterday. It's getting delivered on Monday. Nice, stunning leather little number, getting delivered from a local charity shop. But while I was there, it was again perfect timing, which I seem to be doing a lot of lately. I walked in and it was the first day open after lockdown. Found a settee, job done, got a good price and all that. But while I was in there, there was a load of other gear that I was. They normally only do furniture in there, so I was really surprised. I picked up a few electricals, electronic typewriter, a couple of DVD recorders, this, that, and the other. I might go through those later. That's if I can get all this working. At the minute, it's looking like I'm not going to be able to do the live stream and do the orders at the same time. Hey ho, there you go. A couple of questions. Just when you, yeah. Hi Dave and chat. How you doing, reseller kid? The best postal service, Dave, please, Gamer Boy. I always use eBay's own portal for shipping. It's a bit cheaper than sending standard post. Quite often, if you're using a courier, it's cheaper to use the terminals at the drop-off point. I use Hermes quite a lot, but you can imagine the pain in the backside of going in and using the terminal. If you send in 20, 30 orders out, for example, even if you send in a handful. So I almost exclusively, with very rare exception, use eBay's portal. You get a basic tracking with that as well. If, for example, if I'm sending stuff out and it's this, I just pack the Eddie Stobart bits and pieces. This is obviously a small, under a small parcel size. It's under 2 kilos, so I know that it's going to cost me £2.95. If I was to send this and get the postage done at the post office, it'd be slightly over £3. So I'm probably saving about 10 pence, give or take. But also as well, even this will be going second class. Small parcel, which is the most basic rate, £2.95 to send it. Because I've done it through eBay, I'll get a really basic tracking. So if you use a tracking number that you get off from your label, when you print your label off, and go onto Royal Mail's website, it can tell you basically 3 things: received, in transit, and delivered. You'll only find out it's been delivered when it's been delivered. I know that sounds like a daft thing to say, but it's only updated when that kind of process is complete. So don't be expecting sort of like recorded where you can see where it's at step by step. But at least 2 things on that. At least it gives you answers to potential questions you might get answered from, might get asked by your buyer. But also as well, if it comes to again a late delivery strike, which I've had a number of over the years, you can get onto eBay. A lot of the times, if you're a top-rated seller, then this stuff gets removed automatically anyway because you've got a proven track record. But if it doesn't, you can get onto eBay and say, listen, I always send out. They can have a look at their tracking because you bought the postage through their system, and they can say, right, yeah, it printed the label on this date, so likelihood is that's when he sent the parcel out as well, the package out. So it gives you that get out of jail free as far as getting late delivery defects taken off as well. Thomas Lewis Gorman, how you doing, my friend? Welcome to the channel. Starting on eBay, but they've only let me list 10 items. Do I have to buy eBay stores? Got quite a lot to sell. Yeah, I had this question the other day actually. When you've got a brand new eBay account, whether it be personal or business, it's quite restrictive early days as far as how many listings you can have, and also when you receive payments via PayPal, they can quite often hold the funds for a few days. It's perfectly normal, nothing to worry about. It's just eBay don't know who you are. You have absolutely no track record of you or how you trade. So to prevent scammers or to make life a pain in the backside for scammers, they put these restrictions in place. They will ease up as you start making sales and sort of like start building a lot better reputation. One thing I would say with that does help is make a few purchases on eBay yourself. If I'm missing a lead, for example, in fact, I'm looking. Got one today actually. Stuck in my pocket. I picked up this MP3 player, MP4 player actually, a little Tascam thing. It came with no charging lead. It's in really good condition, so I'm fairly confident that's going to work. But it needs a lead. So rather than In fact, I've got a bag of wires here that I can go through to see if there's one in. But also, I'm not in no rush to sell that. I can buy something on eBay for 99p or whatever, get it sent to me, and I'll probably get feedback for that transaction as well. So that's another good way of bolstering up. Once you get past a certain point with your feedback, the restrictions get easier and easier and easier again. I've only answered half your questions, Thomas. Then sorry, Paul. Yeah, if you've got quite a lot to sell, I think it's been a while since I've done the numbers as far as a break-even point is concerned. I think it's 75 listings. If you've got 75, I'm going to say 75. It might be 95. Just correct me if I'm wrong on this one. If you've got past 75 listings on your account, you're as well having a business account. Yeah, it costs, I think it's around about £30 a month mark. I don't even notice it, to be honest, because of the amount I've got listed. If you pass the 75 listings mark, that's your break-even point. After that, it actually saves you money having a business account. Not only is it cheaper as far as listings concerned and as far as fees are concerned, you also get a lot more protection as well as far as seller protection as far as eBay is concerned. It's well worth having, well worth having. Thomas, I'd say that build up your reputation first before you jump in and get a store. Once you start getting to the 75, I mean, obviously you're restricted to 10 listings at the minute. Once you get past the 75 listings mark, definitely get a store. It's well worth it. There's a good friend of mine that I've kind of taken under my wing, Chris Parkinson. He's featured in the previous video. You might have seen him actually. He just recently went. He's got a business account. He achieved his top-rated seller, and he noticed a significant increase in his sales as well. So it all helps your publicity, and it helps the algorithms. If you're a top-rated seller, you reach more people. No worries at all, my friend. Resell the kid. I have 60 listings at the minute. Yeah, you're getting close to that mark, mate. Yeah, like I say, just do the sums. Like, it's been a long time since I've done it. I know it makes perfect sense for me to have a business account, but do the sums and find out where that break-even point is. Even if you're getting close and you intend on pushing through that and having 100 plus listings, for example, definitely worth considering. Just sold Simpsons Scrabble for £10 plus postage. £700 on hold. Yeah, I feel your pain, mate, honestly. Nowadays, it's extremely rare. If I ever get a hold on any funds, it's usually because of the buyer. I had one last week. I sold, I think it was 1.5 kilos of just loose Lego, and because the buyer had zero feedback and all that kind of stuff, his funds. In fact, it's unusual on that one because he said I got an email saying it was suspected suspicious activity or worse to that effect from eBay. So the funds were on hold for 24 hours, and then I got the funds and shipped as normal. But it's really, really rare. It's just a case of pushing through those restrictions. They're in place for very good reason. It's nice to know that you're being looked after as well. There's still a lot of people who try it on. You can actually make life a lot easier for yourself on all your listings. I mean, obviously, the other day I mentioned how beneficial having GSP is active on your listings, but also as well on all my listings, without exception, aside from on a really rare occasion, I'll do an auction. All my listings are buy it now, and they will always have the require immediate payment box checked as well. So I always say that if somebody commits to buy something, you want some money off them. The only way that that isn't possible is if I send an offer out and somebody accepts an offer, they've got up to 48 hours to pay. I usually find that people pay straight away anyway. If you imagine that if you haven't got that buy it now box checked, then it can be, you can be just chasing people. And there's a lot of people buy and say, "Oh, I don't get paid until Friday." That's proper annoying. I know at the end of the day, customers are customers, but I always say, if you can't afford it, don't bloody buy it. No, everybody thinks like that, though, obviously. Questions, Scott. Yeah, Thomas, that's the way I think. Always think outside the box. Charity shops, car boots, auctions. Another good tip as well is go into cash converter type shops, cash generator, that kind of stuff, where people bring this stuff because they've run out of bags and need some money. Yeah, go in there as well, because quite often they'll misprice things. I picked up a high-end Blu-ray player just recently from my local shop to me that had been undervalued because I think they thought it was just a bog standard Blu-ray player. Quick flip, I think it's 10 into 60 quid on that instance. Because I had one return, they kept selling loads. Yeah, returns are just part course. I get it. I'll probably get maybe 3 or 4 returns a month. Sometimes it's unavoidable. You've got to test everything, and you've got to be as honest as possible. It really minimises it, but sometimes people look at things through rose-tinted spectacles. Rather than buy new, they'll buy second-hand and expect new, even when you've said it's got less defects, it's marked, blah blah blah. You can be as honest as you like. People just want the world on a plate for a fiver. Only one problem with Hermes overall now. 4 or 5 games gone missing. That's really unusual, that reseller kid. What kind of time frame is that? Your items going missing? I mean, I get it from time to time, stuff going missing. But that is in a short time. If it's a short time period, 4 or 5 games, that's maybe worth doing some research into that. Which is better, auction or buy it now? Buy it now every time. Auctions, people don't like hanging about. If I go on, just think about your own experience with buying online, whether it be eBay, Amazon, or whatever. If you decide you want something, whether it's new or second-hand or used, you want it there, and then you're not really faffing about and keeping your fingers crossed for 7 days, 3 days, 5 days, whatever the auction is. You want it, and people are also as well. Not only do people want it tomorrow, ideally, but they want it as soon as possible. They don't want to hang about to the end of the auction. Buy it now almost always fetch a higher price as well, unless it's something that's super collectible or an item that really lends itself to an auction, which are very, very few and far between, like fine art, pottery, blah blah blah. You know, the kind of thing. Not board games or anything like that. Then auction is probably the way to go, but I wouldn't necessarily use eBay for that anyway. But yeah, anyway, I'm waffling. Buy it now, 100%, absolutely better. You fetch higher price and you'll have a quicker turnover of stock as well. Or selling to CX and get a set amount rather than avoid. Yeah, you probably noticed from previous videos, I will sell games media and the like, but it's few and far between. I know there's a lot of money to be made there if you specialise, but I'm not a specialising kind of guy. I wouldn't recommend doing this business and just niching down. I was talking to somebody, I think it was yesterday or the day before, on that exact subject. Because of how eBay works and the algorithms, the search, you don't need to. Unless you're a recognised brand like CEX, like Game, so on and so forth, people aren't going to single you out to look for your items. So there's no point in specialising. If you're good in one particular area, that's fantastic, because I mean you'll definitely know games better than me. You'll be able to see at a glance what's worth something and what isn't, whereas I would have to probably research in every instance. But I always like a broad spectrum of items. I find that works miles better. Full box set, a lot of grey and £1.50 local cash converters. They're getting really hard to find at the minute. A lot of charity shops have pulled the Little Britain DVDs off the shelves because of, I won't get into the nonsense of all that kind of stuff. I would say comedy is comedy, and why people get upset about it. More's a pity why the comedians getting upset about comedy. It's not a crime to make people laugh. Anyway, I diversify. I digress. Auctions are good for job lots of crap. Well, depends on who you're trying to sell from. I use a little app called BidKit, and it searches. Well, you can set the distance, but it searches local collection only deals on eBay. It's really good for sniping. And I always, if I ever see the words car boot in a listing or items for car boot, job lot for car boot, I just scroll past, because there's a reason it's on there. It's crap that people have tried to sell at a car boot and they just haven't been able to move. Rachie, I've been quite surprised at what's been popular selling view. Retro means old. I think I'm going to rent my dad's loft. There's going to be all kinds of retro stuff in there. Yeah, absolutely. There's apparently the rule of thumb. I've only just recently found this out as well. You can kind of legitimately call something retro if it's over 20 years old, which is scary. So anything sort of like pre-2000 is retro now. I must be bloody ancient. Question: best find ever to resell? Oh, I was going to say that's a really difficult question, but it isn't. I've got a Salvation Army charity shop next to mine, and I was going through and I picked up this game, and it looked like it was from the 60s. It was a kind of big thing, almost sort of like the size of you'd imagine a scale electric box, polystyrene based. It was still shrink wrapped, and it was, can't remember the name of it. I'd never seen it before, and I've never seen it again. It was a scientific mathematics game. That's probably the best way I can describe it. I'd never heard of it. Like I say, really old, but still brand new, if you will. That makes sense. And the charity shop wanted £1.50 for it, and it went to America for £350. I nearly fell on my ass. You'll get these moments when you're at a car boot or you're in a charity shop and somebody's just told you that they want £1 for something or £3, and you have a quick on your phone to check the comps on it, and the comps are coming up 100, 200, 300 quid, whatever. And it's really hard to keep a lid on it, saying, oh yeah, okay, well, okay. Or even being really cheeky and saying, and offering a couple of quid less than they've asked for it. It does happen, and it does happen really regularly. You just got to keep looking, guys. Not worth any money. Only Series 3. Yeah, I think that's on the little brand DVDs, I think the peak's probably past now. So good idea, DVD games. So onto CX clothing. Trying the app Vinted for retro 90s. Not familiar with Vinted. I've heard of it, but I've never used it. Retros 90s, Adidas, and then other items, board games, all style, keep for eBay. Yeah, if I use Amazon as well for a lot of stuff. Most, in fact, exclusively at the minute, new stock. I don't talk about Amazon a great deal because I don't consider myself an expert on eBay, but I'm certainly not an expert on Amazon. I've made very decent money through Amazon, particularly over Christmas. But I don't like to sort of like shout about things that I'm not 100% kind of familiar with and can talk about with any degree of authority. It might be worth your while if you decide to go down the Amazon route, Thomas, to have a look at used games on there, because the likes of the Downfalls, the old vintage games, they can go for crazy money on Amazon. We think cheeky enough for less than that. That's it. So, seriously, mate, I don't know. The shop was run by little old ladies as well. I mean, my stomach was thinking, should I be feeling guilty for this? But I paid them exactly what they were asking. I spent a lot of money in there, to be fair, that day. I think I say a lot of money. I spent about 30, 40 quid with them on quite a few items. But that one really sticks in the back of the mind. I wish I could remember the name of it. Yeah, it was some kind of mathematics game or whatnot. It was obviously originally is either really, really rare or I don't know, maybe I could have held off for more. But I got shipped out GSP actually to the States. You tell a kid does my head in when money gets put on hold. Same all the everyone return unless that's early. Yeah, Ram. Things like this, you've got to take it on the chin. If you don't take anything else from this live stream, I will say this, and it's extremely important. Don't take stuff personally. If you get a snotty message off a buyer saying this, that, and the other, just look at it as calmly and professionally as you possibly can. It's super, super important, because if you respond in kind to that arstiness, for want of a better word, then it's only going to escalate. And so if you're professional and polite and respectful, you can very quickly diffuse the situation. It's not personal, even if you get into the stage where, for example, let me just grab something. This is one of the things that sold today, Hot Wheels game. That's sold for 20 quid. If somebody gets onto me, and I mean, this is perfect, this is brand new. If the buyer gets onto me saying it's been crushed in postage, it's this and that's not how you described it, calling me all the names under the sun, I mean, my conscience is clear. I know I've been honest and presented and sold this item in exactly the way it should be done. But if it's a scammer or somebody who's taking the piss, basically, and gets onto me and says, it's not as described, I want my money back, yada, yada, yada. Obviously, you can argue the point to a certain degree, but always keep it in mind you need to be polite and respectful to diffuse the situation. But if it goes down that full course of events as far as messaging back and forth is concerned, and it's clear that there's no way that you're going to win this one, I always say apologise, refund, and block them. Purely and simply for the fact it's not worth, for 20 quid, it's not worth risking your reputation. It does sting and it is a pain in the ass, but your reputation's everything. I might have lost 20 quid on that instance. I know for sure that person's never going to buy off me again, or never have the opportunity to take the mickey out of me again. But the important thing is I've protected my reputation moving forward. Transaction 1 point. You should be extra careful. Yeah, Ram, there's only so much you can do. If you use the honesty as your golden rule in your listings, even if it's probably over honest, that's you can't get tripped up. Then it's as simple as that. You're going to get it. I mean, I don't hate to put a figure on it. I do write off orders from time to time, and give people the benefit of the doubt, probably a little bit more than I should. But like I say, protecting my I've got 100% feedback. Ever since I achieved it, it's never dropped below. In fact, in the last 2 years, I think I've got one negative, which I negotiated with the person that left it to have it removed. See you later, reseller kid. All the best to you, mate. Yeah, so you can actually get there's 2 ways you can get negative feedback removed. The best way to do it is by negotiation with the buyer. There's a link if you check the help pages of eBay, you can send somebody. It's called feedback revision request. So obviously message them first, come to an arrangement. I always say, probably don't get a bit soppy about it, but I say, listen, it affects my business. I really want to make this right. If something's gone wrong, I had best intentions. I've been honest, not be argumentative or anything like that. But obviously, try and win them over, try and get them on board, and then say, listen, if I refund the order, would you consider revising your feedback? That's the best way to do it, because you haven't got eBay involved. If you get eBay involved, sometimes that can really count against you. If you have an instance where you can actually get a strike on your eBay account that because you haven't been able to resolve a situation, you've had to ask eBay to step in. If that's the case, that can really go against you as well. So put a lot of effort into resolving it yourself. But worst case scenario, if you've been honest and you've done the best you can and all that kind of stuff, and the buyer's not having any of it, you can get onto eBay and say, listen, this is the timeline of events, this is the exchange of messages, they've left unfair and negative feedback, can you have a look with a view to removing it? And like I say, if you're a top rated seller, you can speak with a louder voice. Well, I think we're at 10 viewers at the height. I should really have been picking some orders. Well, I'll show you a few things that I've sold over since Wednesday. Downfall, standard. This is in the last video, actually sold really, really quickly. I can tell you, actually, I've got my phone to tell you how much they went for and how much I paid for them. Downfall, paid £2 for this one. In fact, I think this is the one. Yeah, this particular one, it's one of the more vintage ones. I think this is from the 90s, but this one has been opened. I think it's got, you know, sort of a repaired corner, but it's never been played. It's brand new, never been assembled. All the ingredients are still in their the plastic sprues as well. So paid £2 for it, and because it's brand new, it's going out for new record for this one for me, £19.99 plus £2.99 for the postage. Colour Downfall. Oh, while you're on, I'll show you this as well. This is for the likes of Downfall, Cluedo, some of the games that you're picking up all the time. Dingbats, another one I mentioned. I always have bags of bits. In there we've got lots of different Downfall counters, bits for Dingbats. Anyway, if you're picking up games from charity shops and car boots, quite often you'll find that, say quite often, sometimes you'll find that the games aren't complete. So, chuck all the bits in a bag, and if it crops up again, we've got spare bits. Top tip for the day. Right, this one I already showed you, that this is a Hot Wheels, like a remote control car. This is a supermarket pickup. Hot Wheels. Yes, paid £6 for it on clearance, and this is going for £16.99 plus £3.45 postage. Nice easy postage as well. Nice easy to ship. There's probably a reason that I didn't send that into Amazon. There's normally stuff like that I just ship into Amazon. I think I do like to keep my eBay stock to a decent level. Man, this smells so badly at charity shops. Damn, I'm sure I mentioned that on the listing. Vintage Scrabble from the 80s, this one. Older stuff, on a lot of games, older vintage stuff sells a lot better than the new stuff. You can pick up a brand new set of Scrabble for, I think, about £14 or something like that. But because people like the older stuff is generally more sturdy as well. So these still go for good money. Well, I say good money, it's all bread and butter stuff. I'm paying sort of like £1 or £2 for a set like this. And if you can count up to 100, it's an easy list. So I paid £2 for this one, and that's going out for £12.99 free postage. Bread and butter game. I'm pretty sure, yeah, this has been a lot of this stuff is going to be in the previous. I keep saying this stuff has been in a previous video, but a lot of this stuff will have done now. Electronic Shush, Don't Wake Dad. Another bread and butter game. Paid £2 for it, and it's, yeah, probably not pick this one up again. Paid £2 for it, and it's going out for £9.99 plus £2.99 postage. So after fees and postage, so say still about 5 or 6 quid back of a packet figures, 5 or 6 quid profit. So it's not going to be sniffed at. These sold really, really quickly. Picked these up on Tuesday, which would have been the last video that I've uploaded. Doc Martens, high leg, brand new. Paid up for these. Paid £45 for them. The brand spanking new, steel toe cap. I should like this video a lot better, to be honest. Yeah, Doc Martens. Paid £45 for them, which is the bad news. But the good news is they're going out the door for £90. Let's double check. £93.99, and I put postage of £6 on that, £5.99 postage on that as well. So just shy of 100 quid. So decent profit there. Doc Martens, made in England. Definitely one to watch out for. Another one of these, you'll have seen these as well. Paid £2.50 at a supermarket for them. Got a dozen of them, and that's going out for £15.99. That's including the postage. Charity shop pickup, electronic chess. There's a version of electronic chess, the Gary Kasparov, who is a world champion, that I picked up for a couple of quid, and it went for something crazy like £80–90. Never heard of this one before, but because it's electronic chess again, it made me do the research. This was a quick flip, £2. There is actually one white bishop missing, and I've replaced it with just a piece. I've explained that in the listing. The pieces. Oh, why is it crashed? Still there. Yeah, the pieces are not the bit that makes it work. It's sensors in the board, so you could probably just change the plastic pieces out. So I paid £2 for this. I'm quickly looking it up. I'm trying to make this video as smooth as possible, but it's just not going to work. Paid £2, and it's going out for £18.99 plus £3.99 postage. So a decent return on that. It's pretty smart there. Pretty smart game, actually. You've seen me mention this type of stuff before. This is a cast iron cup holder. Always have a look at cast iron kitchenware. You've seen me sell weighing scales. Another example. Wine rack, this, that, and the other. Always look at cast iron stuff, particularly if it's in this sort of like a green or a blue. People who have Argu cookers or that kind of cooker, this is very attractive to stuff like that because they like accessories that complement it. This is fairly heavy, obviously being cast iron, and but it should be an easy post. One thing to bear in mind with cast iron, it can be quite brittle, so make sure you wrap them properly. Cast iron is not the strongest metal in the world. It can, if I drop this, there's a very good chance it'll snap or shatter. Lego Duplo set. This was larger than advertised on the box. It's just random bits and pieces, bricks, vehicles. I think there's a train set in it as well. A couple of figures. So this one, I paid £2 for it from a young man at the Giant Car Boot. Same young man that I bought the Brio off, that I did really well off. Brio train set. This Lego Duplo paid £2, and that's going out for £24.99 plus £3.99 postage. I think one of the supermarkets, I think it's Tesco, a smaller version of this on offer at the minute for about £13. If you've got a lot of patience, if you can get into Tesco and pick up a smaller version of this set, 13 quid. The comps on them at the minute are pretty low, but if you buy a load of them and sell them until Christmas, you could be doubling your money. I think that's it. There's a couple of things I've already boxed up. Motorcycle helmet, I got in a big bundle. That is going out for, I think I paid something like maybe £4 for it, for argument's sake. The helmet's going out for £25 plus £5 postage. Some weighing scales that I've already packed. I'm actually paying for those £3 or £4 for those, and that's going out for £24 plus £7 postage. And the other one is no, it's gone. There was one other item anyway that's going out today. I'm ignoring you guys here, aren't I? As a buyer, I find a lot of sellers put their descriptions. Please message first with any problems. Yeah, Rach, that's quite often the case because they want to. I don't do that, and I'll explain why in a minute. Uh, because reputation is so very, very important, particularly for business sellers. If there's any kind of hint or any chance that there might be an issue, you want the buyer to contact you first before leaving negative feedback. I think personally that might encourage it, encourage people to take the piss basically. So I don't do that at all. My defence is the thank you card. You've probably seen it before, but in everything I send out, I put these thank you cards, and it's that type of spiel saying thanks very much indeed for your customer. It's really appreciated. Kind of make the buyer feel a bit good about themselves, and say, and basically ask them to leave feedback. On there, it just says if you have any issues, please let us know through eBay. If you're happy with your purchase, we're really grateful if you can leave us positive feedback. And it definitely works. Not every time, obviously, but it makes a difference to people getting back in contact with you. But I wouldn't mention that in the listing because I think generally it would encourage people to take this, even if they weren't already thinking about it. Any more questions? I have 4 watches now. Well, young 4 guys, I still love you. 3 watches, I love you anyway. If you missed this live stream anyway, or if you want to go back on it and any of the pickups or any of the waffle that I've been spouting, you can. I'll save this. This will upload to the channel anyway, so you can watch it back. So, 47 minutes. I think I've been waffling on for long enough. Like I said, this was really, really unscripted. I probably should have tested the setup a lot better before I went live as well. The lighting definitely should have been better. But we give it a go, and you guys have been brilliant. Thanks for your questions have been excellent. I think I've just missed one, actually. Got some Commodore 64 games picked up. We'll try Amazon and eBay. Worth listing on platforms. Yeah, I rarely do the cross-platform listing. Sometimes I'll list on. I send everything I sell through Amazon. I send into Amazon and have them fulfill it. It's just a fantastic business model. I just send a big box of this stuff in and let them deal with everything. Sometimes I'll fulfill my eBay orders from my Amazon stock, but never the other way around. I think it's quite difficult to manage. If you've only got a few items that you sell, either because it's physically only, let's say, a dozen items, for example, or whether you sell one type of item multiple times, then it's probably a lot easier to manage. But because my listings are between 4 and 450 on eBay at the minute, and I think I've got somewhere in the region of about a dozen different types of item at Amazon, the logistics on managing it is very, very difficult and very confusing. I know there are software. There is software. Excuse me. There is software you can get where you can manage your multi-platform sales, but I don't think they're. I'm not convinced that they're very effective. I can just foresee more problems than it's worthwhile doing. Yeah, the thank you card, Rach, it definitely is a good idea. When I first started out, before I had any money to, I think I'm paying something like £35 for 1,000, and they're good quality A6 cards as well. I can justify that expense because of the return. I mean, I'm getting to the stage now where as long as I manage my listings and I'm decent with people, I'll still get the feedback anyway. But I like to go that extra mile, make people feel good about themselves. Also, as well, it's a great way to introduce people to other sales channels as well. For example, I sell not so much. I sell through Shopify on my own website as well, like for merch and t-shirt. It's not a vast amount of business, but sending the cards out is a good way of letting people know about my website or about social media, this, that, and the other. When I started out, I was sending like little happy bags, little fun size bags of Haribo and stuff like that. Just that stuff so people remember you are. Well, I best get these orders packed anyway, and sending towards lunchtime as well, which is an important part of the day for a fat bloke, believe you me. If you've got any more last questions, get them in now. Yeah, no, that's it. Right, guys, listen, thanks very much indeed for watching. If you'd be good enough to do the thumbs up thing when this video goes live, that'd be brilliant. It helps the channel, it helps the reach, helps me help more people. That's why I'm doing this. I don't get paid for it. That's certainly not why I'm in it. It helps the channel reach more people, and I mean, who knows? This kind of content could quite foreseeably help people struggle out of financial difficulties, help them out of financial difficulties. So give a thumbs up. You guys are probably already subscribed because you've jumped on this live. But if you're not, click the subscribe button and the notification bell. You'll get a notification of next time I post up a video, which will probably be after the weekend now. Thanks very much indeed for watching, guys. Love you lots. I've been Dave Keith. Adios.